Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at the absolutely breathtaking, vibrant world of shallow coral reefs. I mean, they're some of the most beautiful ecosystems on the planet, right? They draw in millions of us who just want to explore their waters. But they also hide a potentially dangerous reality. So this explainer is all about venomous reef inhabitants and, most importantly, how to stay safe while diving. Because while these waters are stunning, they're also places where specialized medical help might literally be hours away if something goes wrong. Understanding this environment before you step into it, absolutely essential.
So I have to ask you directly, what's actually hiding in the shallow reef? It's a crucial question. We kind of tend to think of ocean dangers as these big things lurking out in the dark, deep water. But the reality is quite different. Most envenomation incidents actually happen right where beachgoers wade, swim, and snorkel. Yep, the shallows. It's exactly where we feel the most comfortable and the safest that we often blindly encounter the most hidden risks. Let's move to our roadmap and see how this builds. We'll start with the hidden dangers in reefs, move on to the primary suspects, and then look at small but deadly risks. After that, we pivot sharply to prevention with avoiding the sting and wrap up with emergency first aid. Section 1. Hidden dangers in reefs. You know, there's a really stark contrast between the vibrant wildlife we travel thousands of miles to see and the reality of what happens when we get just a bit too close. Most incidents happen simply because animals are stepped on, touched, or handled. The highest risk doesn't come from aggressive animals hunting us down. No way. It comes from us entering their home without looking closely at where we put our hands and feet. This perfectly sets up why we need to understand exactly which specific threats are sharing that water with us. Section 2. The primary suspects. And this brilliantly illustrates two of our most notorious culprits side by side. On one hand, you've got the stonefish. These guys are responsible for incredibly painful envenomation because their mottled bodies flawlessly camouflage right into the sand and rocks. People literally step right on them without ever realizing they were there. Then, on the other hand, the lionfish takes the exact opposite approach. They don't hide at all. They have very visible, highly venomous spines. With lionfish, the sting happens fast, usually when divers accidentally brush against those spines or, even worse, when people foolishly try to collect them. So, the crucial point is understanding exactly what happens during these encounters. Let's define it clearly. Envenomation is the process by which venom is injected by the sting or spine of a venomous marine animal. With culprits like the stonefish and lionfish, even a brief glancing sting injects toxins that cause severe, long-lasting pain and massive swelling. The medical stakes here are very real, and they can completely derail a trip. Section 3. Small but deadly risks. Okay, we've covered the big, famous fish, but what about the sneaky threats? Enter the cone snail. They're small and look exactly like beautiful, harmless, collectible shells just resting on the ocean floor. But surprise! They possess a highly specialized literal harpoon mechanism to deliver venom. While the specific toxins vary heavily by species, the human behavior that causes the injury is almost always the same. Picking up these seemingly harmless shells for a quick photo dramatically increases your risk of a very, very nasty strike. Next up on our list of hazards, stingrays. They can deliver seriously dangerous injuries via a venomous tail spine. Just like the stonefish, stingray accidents frequently occur when the animal is accidentally stepped on while it's just chillin' resting on the sandy bottom. But another incredibly frequent cause of stingray accidents is when someone actually attempts to grasp or physically move the ray. It's just a defensive reaction to being handled. Now, we really can't talk about reef risks without discussing the reef itself. Corals and other reef invertebrates can cause severe skin abrasions and painful reactions right upon contact. While not always strictly venomous in the traditional sense, this surface exposure can severely irritate the skin, causing reactions that closely mimic envenomation. Plus, these cuts are notorious for leading to nasty secondary infections. The entire reef structure absolutely requires your respect and your distance. Section 4. Avoiding the sting. Now for the empowering part. Most of these injuries are entirely avoidable if you follow this ultimate checklist. First, you must wear protective footwear in rocky or shallow areas to avoid stings from bottom-dwelling species like stonefish and rays. Second, do not handle the wildlife. Period. Never pick up a creature like a cone snail for a photo, and never try to grab a lionfish. Third, actively maintain your distance from animals with visible spines or tentacles. keep your hands to yourself, and finally, always follow local guidance on seasonal risk areas and safe entry and exit points. If you do these 4 things, your risk drops exponentially.
Section 5. Emergency first aid.
Because despite our absolute best efforts and awareness, accidents can still happen in the wild. When they do, the response must be beautifully systematic. Now, what's really interesting about this protocol is how straightforward it is. Step 1. Immediately remove the injured person from further danger in the water. Just get them out. Step 2. Rinse the area with clean water, but do this gently. You want to completely avoid any aggressive scrubbing, which can make things so much worse. And Step 3. Seek immediate medical care. Getting an appropriate medical assessment early is crucial to determine if specialty treatment is needed, especially if the pain is severe or symptoms are getting worse.
Just as important as knowing what to do is knowing exactly what not to do. Avoid tourniquets and absolutely do not attempt to cut the wound. Doing either of those things can significantly make the injury worse. Instead, your primary non-medical job is to keep the injured person calm, monitor their symptoms closely, and contact local emergency services or a medical provider as rapidly as possible. Panic is the enemy here. To sum up the environment we're privileged to step into, our source material says it best. The ocean's most vivid residents are also among its most hazardous. It's a stunning, memorable summary. With awareness and disciplined reef behavior, you can completely enjoy these spaces without turning curiosity into injury. Maintaining a respectful distance is simply the absolute safest way to satisfy your curiosity and experience the wonder of the reef. Which brings us to our final point, and a question I really want to leave you with. How will your next dive look different? Armed with this knowledge, you are now completely empowered and prepared to safely explore these incredible environments. You know the primary suspects, you understand the hidden risks of the shallows, and you have the actionable steps to avoid the sting. So stay safe, keep your hands to yourself, and never stop exploring.